Hello everyone and welcome to the last report on the state of co-prosperity sphere. This one recorded in 1973 as the last episode of the Let's Play. And it's gonna be a closing episode for the Let's Play as well. So we're gonna take it a little bit differently. I will have a couple of extra points to make out. And I would like to close with some kind of statement about the Let's Play. So in the first part, we're going to go through the statistics as well, and then we're going to circle back to my points. So first of all, let's look at how Japan did. Japan did splendidly. It doesn't seem like that from the coloring of the table, but it's mostly because we had a 99.76% growth in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Other than that, as you can see, everyone is in positive growth, with China being the only one having a negative growth. But having 6.55% for Japan is just amazing. If you can, I can check here and show you that we have grown by nearly half of our GDP since the start of the game. I mean, it's not nearly half, but 44.39% is still a significant growth for any economy in just slightly over a decade. Republic of China, despite having a negative growth this year of minus 5.22%, it's a third year of recession for them in a row. I actually don't know what's happening there. That's kind of interesting point. China was on my list to play as a country, so I would be interested in seeing what kind of issues they have there. Still, they managed to double their economy, slightly over than actually. They added 102.9%, and if we tracked it back in 1970, where they had a GDP with extra 10 billion, it would be way higher. I'm also happy that the state of Manchuria has grown by an additional 3.82%, giving us an overall growth of 23.49%. State of Guangdong is one of the highest growing nations in the game for us, or in the co-prosperity sphere to be quite precise, with 110.56%, though they added only 1.18% this year. But after the shrinkage last year and after the economic issues that they have, I think it's still pretty nice to achieve this amount. Assad Hind government has 4.77%, which is their highest growth, I think, since the beginning of the game. And they added it this year, the very last year, yep. Still, they are just shy of 50% growth at 48.16% since the beginning of the game. Republic of Indonesia added 3.64%, which is, not bad. Republic of Thailand added 3.31%, which is not bad. Philippine Shoto Range Seifu added 1.91%. Now, I still feel a bit sorry about that one. We didn't manage to save them from collapsing into a complete chaos, but despite that, they grew by tripling, slightly over tripling their GDP since the beginning of the game, which is still pretty good. And even under the military command, they are still growing. Empire of Vietnam added 1.48%, currently at 2.75 billion in GDP, and Union of Burma added 3.36%, ending the game at 3.80 billion GDP. Now, Mengyang United Autonomous Government added 4.21%, which is a pretty decent growth. They've ended as an overall growth at exactly 65%, which is pretty cool, in just a decade, slightly over a decade, not bad at all. Seihoku Hamegun added 2.29%, which is completely in line with their growth. Overall growth, just slightly over 25% since the beginning of the game, not bad. Democratic Republic of Malaya added nearly 6% this year, which is one of their highest, if not the highest, growth since the beginning of the game. It is their highest growth, with the exception of the first year where they annexed the neighboring territories. So they added in over 88%, almost 88.5% since the beginning of the game. Khmer Republic added 3.1%, completely in line with them. Laos added 4.3%, completely in line with them. Nampogo second added 1.85%, again completely in line with them. Bhutan added 2.56%, again completely in line with them. They're ending just shy of 35% on total growth, and their GDP just slightly over 120 million American dollars. Now, they started with 90 million, so it's still a significant growth when you think about it, but, you know, it's a small country, very poor one, but we made them last. Confederate Cities of Grenada added 1.73%, so they're ending at 7.65 billion. One of the nations that barely grew. They had a little bit of a recession in the beginning, and then they started adding around 1% every year. There is a definite trend of growth, so maybe in the upcoming years they would grow faster. But this way they added almost 6.25% since they joined the co-prosperity sphere, which was in the year 1968. Peru added 4.92%, which is a pretty decent growth, but in line, not that higher than they had before. And in just, they joined in 1968, and since then they added nearly 30%, which is pretty good, especially when you compare it to New Grenada, which in that same time didn't even add 1/4 of that. Republic of Zaire added 4.11%, making me really happy. They are growing really nicely, starting really strong at 4.46 billion for an African country. They ended with 5.70 billion. So really not bad result for an African country. And then we have the Islamic Republic of Iran, which actually ended at 8.43 billion. Meaning they had a growth of 99.76% since the last year, but I don't, value that. The game is recalculating stuff, and I think that the original number was just wrong. And we had a new joiner this year, which again we weren't informed about, but the Republic of Mozambique has joined us, and or actually, did they? Republic of Mozambique. I think they we won the war. Wasn't I supposed to put them here last year? Or was it this year? Maybe I did a mistake there. Well, still, they had exactly 500 million in GDP, so they're currently one of the weaker members of the co-prosperity sphere, but they ended at number 20. So, when we move to the top 10 world economies, no surprise here that all of the same countries as last year and the year before are present. But you can see that the growth of the top three, that we would definitely jump over the United States, and not even in a decade, it might be just a couple of years, because they grew by 1.45%, which is their second year in line with a meager growth, while Dai Nippon Teikoku, meaning us, Japan, added 6.51%, and Gross Germanisches Reich added nearly 10% at 9.74%. Unfortunately, due to that, they again ended up second, and we are third. I kind of hated that not a single one of these years we were recorded as number 2, because every time January rolled around, they jumped over us, even though we were at certain points higher than them. But both of us grew quite significantly, and the United States would be moved to position number 2 and maybe even 3 within a couple of years. Regno d'Italia added 1.23%. They're on position number 4. Nothing surprising there. Number 5 belongs to United Kingdom, which has been underperforming significantly in the past few years. When you look at the beginning, they were added quite... Actually, no. In 1964, they had a recession as well. Yeah, I mean, their economy keeps oscillating around between a slight negative and 2%, something like that. So having just 0.26% this year is, I guess, not surprising. I mean, 1960s and 1970s in the United Kingdom were pretty harsh. So, Republic of China dropped, as we know, by 5.22%, but they still retain position number 6. Position number 7 belongs to Union of Soviet Socialist Republics again. They added 34.26%, but still haven't been able to jump over China. So yeah, their rocket growth continues, yet they didn't manage to get above place number 7. Number 8 belongs to the French state, who added this exactly the same amount as last year. That's interesting. Or is that no? It's the same formula. So same result as last year. They ended up at 56.44 billion in GDP. Number 9 belongs to Brazil, who lost 1.48%. After the massive growth they had before, the last 2 years weren't kind to Brazil, it seems. And number 10 belongs to the state of Guangdong, who, despite recession last year and a meager growth this year, still retained number 10. Who knows for how long that would be, though. As far as global GDP goes, the entire world grew by 3.49%, and the total sphere GDP grew by 4.29%. So we are still growing slightly faster than the world, meaning we increased our share on the world economy by 27.2%, which I'm not sure if it's the record. 24, I guess it is. Yeah, we had 27% max. Nice. Okay, so we ended with the highest share of the world economy ever. Okay, that makes me feel really good about myself. Nice. And the sphere trade ended up at 407 billion American dollars, which is crazy, a growth of 40% year to year. But last year was also 42.65%, so I guess we're integrating. And the world statistics, or actually additional statistics, these were the world statistics. So total debt increased. Actually, I was kind of surprised to see that, but it increased by 1.05 billion. I guess we weren't able to turn it around. Total debt ratio, though, dropped by 4.8% to 78.1, which is our lowest number. Considering we started at 103.6%, we were on the best trajectory to eliminate it or get it to reasonable numbers, which can be somewhere around 30 to 40%. I consider that absolutely okay. Yearly surplus jumped up by 6.63 billion from minus 3.86 to 2.77, and we increased the yearly surplus from a deficit of 1.13% to 0.76. We lost a couple of production units, but this is because of the trade. Definitely, I think I added like 30 to trade, so we would end up in a positive number here. Otherwise, this way we ended with 211. Manpower grew by 90,000 men to 5,270,000. But again, this is, because of the austerity, it would be otherwise much higher. Both the Army Force and the Navy Force increased by 2%, while the Air Force size lowered by 7%. I don't know how that is possible. I guess some of the planes require less manpower. I didn't think about it, but yeah, it is true. Population of Japan increased by 4.7 million, so we can see it's speeding up as the country grows. Poverty rate dropped to 22.36%, ending with the lowest number ever. And as we said in the last episode, it is the lowest poverty rate from all of the three superpowers. So that is amazing. Our kids can eat. Score of US military increased by 17, their economy by 9 points, yet they lost 78 points total on their score. Score of German military increased by 114, having the highest military score of all of us at 1211, and their economy dropped by 81 to 324, ending with the worst economy of all of us, despite the massive growth of GDP. And their total score increased by 154. And score of Japan in military increased 27, and in economy increased by 18, and the total score of Japan increased by 95, ending at more than double of what our opponents have. Approval of House of Peers ended at 71%, increase of 19.5% since last year. Public approval increased by 2% to 53%, increase of 2% since last year, and government stability ended at 100%. And now we're going to look at the statistics for the top 4 countries. You can see the trend continues. China is dropping while everybody else is increasing. And Assad government is actually accelerating. So it will be interesting to see the projections for the upcoming years. And as far as the top 3 world economies go, you can see that we are definitely 100% catching up to United States. So who knows what will happen in a bunch of years, but we might have surpassed them if the trend continues. And now let's circle back to the overall notes. Well, as I said, I enjoyed the playthrough greatly. It is a different experience. It's my second experience in TNO. The entire playthrough was blind, and I think we did well. Even though Kaya was my choice number 1, actually your choice number 1 as well, his government failed due to focus on economy, but I think that's actually very realistic because it would be kind of hard to keep control of the situation in that way, and the amount of hits we got during that crisis was just insane. So the Yasuda crisis turned out, I think, very well for us in the end. We ended with the conservatives, and Japan had a mild growth, if pretty decent. As far as the countries in the co-prosperity sphere goes, we had obvious winners like China and Guangdong, Philippines as well, but I still consider that one of our biggest favorites, not being able to hold on to them in a sensible way and having them descend into a military dictatorship. But, we did our best. The DEFCON 1 is just... the difficulty is insane, and as I said, I spoke to the creator of the scripts, and he told me outright that it's not balanced to play at this difficulty, and I'm the crazy only guy he knows that is willing to do this. But I enjoy the challenge because in this way we didn't win every battle. We failed in many of them, and that seems realistic. If I had, what is it, 25 more political power or 30% more political power or even 15, I don't remember what the malus is, but we would have enough to actually do everything, and I think we would just absolutely rule. So at DEFCON 1 you have these situations like with Kaya or with Philippines or the crises in Africa or Spain, because you just don't have enough to invest everywhere, and we were really pressed in some of the instances. Now, some of you probably felt like the start of the game, and I can see a steep drop in views as the game has started, because many of you, you're probably not here, but many of the viewers didn't get through this little intro into the crises, through the investigation and everything. I guess sucks for them, because I greatly enjoyed all the storylines. The only thing that I didn't enjoy and that I would criticize a bit is the negotiations with the United States at the end, which left a little bit of a weird feeling, because there was really no impact other than lowering the tensions. We just gave them the treaty ports, they said they gave us the oil, and that's that. And then suddenly they demanded Hawaii. That was weird. That was really weird, and if I'll have the chance, I'll give the feedback for that event, because it just... I feel like there was supposed to be some... because there was no ending to that. It just disappeared and done. We just said no to the Hawaii thing, and that's that. Hawaii wasn't really that valuable for us. It had pretty much nothing, but strategically it is a jumping point to any kind of offensive we would have against the United States if it came down to a war. So the fact that we demilitarized it and gave them the treaty ports was a big hit to us strategically, and to not have any outcome of that, But I remember specifically that these talks completely failed during the German campaign, so, I guess. If I was to say what was probably the favorite part, it really was the governmental intrigue and the fact, because the mechanics felt really unfair at times, but I still greatly enjoyed them. And in the end, when I think back at it and the constant struggle, it felt, I guess, artificial in the beginning, but once you get used to it and it settles in, it is a really good mechanic that actually forces you to always double guess every step that you take, because you never can overcommit to the outside world, because you never know what's going to happen at home. And despite me trying to hold on to political power, we never ever had enough for that. So yeah, it was kind of cool. I would still be interested in seeing what Kaya's path was like, but again, that would require us to record another like 50 episodes, and I'm not going to do that because, maybe there will be other playthroughs in the future. Who knows? So I'd like to hear your opinion about how this playthrough goes. I know that the views dropped to like 60 to 100 on the last episode, but still, for those of you that actually made it through, I would like to hear any kind of thought that you have, any idea, opinion, and suggestion. Like, I know that I think Wolfau mentioned that he would like to see United States playthrough. Some of you suggested that I play the successor states to the Soviet Union because that could be fun. And I'm considering it, honestly. I want to consider it, and we're definitely going to get back to TNO down the line. We're going to see what's going to happen. I don't intend to play United States in any form in the upcoming months. But if it ever comes down to it, TNO would definitely be one of my choices, because I cannot imagine playing for example, in Black Ice, because you would just build up, and then steamroll over the AI because they would be overcommitted. Well, pretty much like it happened in real world. If not for the hundreds of thousands of dead that had left in the vague United States, completely dominated the battlefield once they joined it. But yeah, I guess those are my parting words, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I am happy that I finished yet another Let's Play, and I'll have to think about what's gonna come next. I had a couple of ideas before. I definitely want to revisit Black Ice once it's updated, but I had to keep my Steam at offline mode during this playthrough, and I do it over all of the playthroughs because we had a couple of instances where just updates randomly came and broke my game, so this is the easiest way. So I'm gonna check what's new, and based on that I'm gonna choose the next playthrough. If there is a couple of days gap, I apologize. But yeah, I also need to focus on that Rule the Waves one, because I didn't have much time to prepare for it, and I want to start it, even if it's gonna be just a side playthrough for now. So again, thank you very much. I am happy that you joined me for this trip. For those of you that will come later, please feel free to share your opinions. Either way, I'm gonna revisit every comment you guys leave, because I read them all. It's the best part of being a YouTuber for me, and I greatly enjoy your feedback. And I'll see you in some other playthroughs. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.